Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So originally I intended for this video to come out Saturday or Sunday, but our servers actually were down for a big chunk of Friday, or during the time that I normally play. So I didn't really get anything done on here then, any of the prep work. And then Saturday my power was out for a few hours, and then a few hours again a little bit later, so I didn't really get a whole lot done that day either. It was actually about 5 days there where the only day in about five days straight where either my internet or my power did not go out was the day that the servers were down for a chunk of time. It's been a very hectic last few days. It's mainly due to we've had a lot of really heavy stormy type weather, a lot of wind, and actually today I'm recording this on Sunday, but earlier we had a big storm blow through and a lot of trees down in our area. So lots of fun, lots and lots of fun. So anyway, since the last episode, what prep I've gotten done. Over here through the electrolyzer I did run some water, and we've got some hydrogen, we've got some oxygen. Over here we've actually got more oxygen and hydrogen than that. I filled up this portable tank, 80,000 millibuckets, twice, and then also some partial filled tanks, and we've got 53,000 millibuckets of oxygen, and we have in addition to the oxygen that's in there, and then over here we've got this is hydrogen. We've got 62 buckets and 28 buckets of hydrogen. So lots and lots of that, because we're going to need a bunch of rocket fuel today. And that's going to be the first thing. I was actually cleaning up some lag, working on some lag cleanup today. But we're going to be working on rocket fuel and a celestial gateway, and then we'll be just about ready at that point. Oh, and I forgot to get mana. I'll go out there here in a little bit and get some mana, because I've ran all of my mana for Nacra, and I was going to go out and get it, and then my power went out right as I was about to, or one of the times it went out right as I was about to go out, and yeah. And I've got some things prepped. We've got a little bit more to prep though, or to put together today. So anyways, let's go ahead and pull up our rocket fuel stuff, and we have to get cryogenic hydrogen and cryogenic oxygen. Now we actually only need a bucket of each of these for the quest, but we're going to need quite a bit of this. The reason being 1,000 millibuckets of each makes 1,000 millibuckets of rocket fuel, and we're going to need a few filled buckets. So let's go ahead and start with, they're pretty much the same thing. It's 10,000 oxygen or 10,000 hydrogen with some blizz powder, and that makes that. Now TPS today, it might be a little bit low. I actually cleared the chunk loads from FTB utilities because the majority of people are no longer playing on the server, but you know, their chunk loads and stuff are still up. So I removed those, but I wish there was a way to get exactly 10,000 millibuckets out of here. That would be wonderful. What I'm going to do is if I have a little bit that goes to waste, that's fine, because it's pretty much a free liquid. So just dump that in there. It's pretty much a free liquid because all it takes is water to do this. But let's go ahead and grab what blizz powder we have. I'm going to have to make more of this today, for sure. We're going to have to make quite a bit of it, in fact. To the point that I do think, well, the only thing is we're actually not going to be using rocket fuel that much, because we're going to launch to the moon and we're going to launch our rocket back. And I can't remember how much exactly it's going to use. I should have made a better hatch maybe for this, but this is fine because we're using the LV hatch, so we're limited to 16,000 on the input, so not great, but that's okay. Alright, that's 2,000. Oh yeah, this will work out perfectly, actually. We'll go ahead and just run every bit of this. So there we go, and that empties out these two. I can pull these up now, get these out of the floor, and they've gone invisible. Okay. Which actually may mean that I'm going to have to relog before too long, because this is a common issue. Actually, let me set this back down. That may have actually, no, it didn't. Sometimes all the machines will start going invisible. So fun times. Right now, I'm more interested in just getting the rocket to space. I'm not as concerned with getting it back right now, because we can relaunch it back. If we set up the Celestial Gateway, we can relaunch it back at any time we want. So it's not really a big concern. As long as we make sure and bring the stuff that we need to set up the Celestial Gateway, we'll be okay, and then I can just make more fuel. I probably won't even bother making more fuel until we automate it, or at least automate parts of it. I don't know that we'll ever... Well, actually, yeah, we'll probably automate rocket fuel, because I know we can use it as a power source. But anyways, let's go ahead and... let me pop over here and get a bucket. I seem to have put my buckets away. We'll go ahead and grab a bucket of this. There we go. And task completed, and we got a quest completed. Ooh. That would be... Oh, I'm still getting used to all this. Oh, I guess it counted that as both. Cryogenic hydrogen and cryogenic oxygen. So I guess that's what it did. It popped a task. I was looking for like a quest in the fluid section. I was like, I can't find one. But I guess that's what it did, was it popped both of them. But we haven't actually made both of them yet. The other one that we have to make is the oxygen, which really isn't any different. Which what I'm going to do is, if we just fill up this, I've got 53,000 there. Okay. And then I'm just going to get what I can hold. Yeah, that's 80,000. That's all the oxygen that I've got, but that's okay. And I'll be out of blizz powder for this. So, oh, and we actually need to make, yeah, I need to make one more bit of that. Okay, so I need to make blizz powder. I need like 9 at the moment. And blizz powder is nitor and then experience. Any kind of experience, either cyclic, industrial foregoing, or essence of knowledge from thermal foundation. And so what I'm going to do, which it says I have no experience right now. Really? Or did I lose it because maybe whenever I went to the nether? Okay, I went out and killed a zombie and now I'm up to 10 levels. So yeah, it was just a rendering issue. Okay, so what we're going to do, I think it's what, to make 2 of them, it's 200 millibuckets. Okay, let me see. We can make the experience drain, which is 9 iron bars in a compressor. That would probably be our easiest route for this, I think. And then we could do that with just iron rods. Yeah. I'm going to need 12 iron rods, though. And then this is assembler with configuration 3 program circuit. And it seems to be crafting something with jungle wood planks, a configuration 3. I had those in there because I was crafting chests with them. But yeah, it's found something that it can make. Which our TPS right now, as you can tell, it's pretty abysmal. It actually started, we actually just updated the most recent version, and that's when it seems to have like kicked in. So I was doing some work on it today. I've got to wait for the next server restart because I'm wiping all the FTB claim chunks. But that doesn't really take effect until a restart. So that's one thing that I'm working on. And then after that restarts, then I'm gonna try to diagnose it a bit more. It's just I want to see kind of where we stand without all the inactive chunks loaded, because hopefully that sorts out a lot of it. So luckily we've got lag goggles, and so that makes a huge difference. It really does. Okay, so let's drop down our steel drum, and I'm assuming that this will work. If we just put our... Yeah, it's going to go invisible. Yeah, this is going to empty out into the drum and dump all of our XP in there. And we have 3.4 buckets, which isn't bad. That should be plenty for making our blizz powder. Okay, so back over to the blizz powder. We are now going to need some niter. Oh, I may have to reload because all this stuff is like invisible. Okay, that didn't really seem to help it too much. Also, one thing to note, peace candles and anything that takes Thaumcraft Infusion or Crucible Crafting, the recipes no longer show up. They still seem to work fine, but they no longer show up on the server since the most recent update. So if you're running into that issue in your playthrough, then you're not alone. I don't know. Something about the most recent update. I need to go through and read all the patch notes and see what could have caused it, because I haven't read the patch notes for the 1.8.2 update. I updated, but normally I read the patch notes, but I didn't, so my bad. But anyways, and it looks like potassium with nitric acid is going to be the route that we have to go with, it seems like. So potassium, if we electrolyze rock salt or saltpeter, enderpearl dust, potassium, biotite, lepidolite. I might actually have some of this lying around. I'm not for sure. Potassium. Well, actually, at a glance, I know I don't over there, and I don't think that I've got potassium over here. I've got manganese, I've got zinc, I've got tin. Stainless and soldering yellow. Okay, so I'm going to have to get some potassium and nitric acid. Water and nitrogen dioxide, ammonia and oxygen. Enderpearl dust is pretty good. You get 5,000 nitrogen, you get 4 potassium dust. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with that method. And that was how many? 10, right? Yeah, 10 enderpearls for 4 and 5. Okay. So let me just get like 2 crafts worth for now. And that should be fine, because that's going to make us, 8 Nitor, and I can get by. That would be 16 Blizz Powder, and really I think I could get by with just 9. So that should be good. So we'll get that macerating up real quick. And it seems like the best method to make this, I think at the moment, is, yeah, I think it's going to be going with this method. So we use 2,000 millibuckets of nitrogen dioxide, which is just a combination of nitrogen and oxygen, and only 1,000 millibuckets of nitrogen gets you 3 buckets of nitrogen dioxide. Use 2 of those buckets with a little bit of oxygen and water, and you get 2 buckets of nitric acid, which seems to be the best route. And then that, only 144 millibuckets. So a single craft of that should do it. The question is, do I have the oxygen? At the moment, I do not. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to run... Actually, no. Didn't I run some... Oh, let's see. Over here, maybe? Yeah, I've got 3,000 millibuckets of oxygen over here, which should be good. Okay, so... Nitrogen dioxide, 2,000 millibuckets of oxygen, 1,000 nitrogen. Okay, so this stuff is done. I'm going to toss this into the electrolyzer. It should be able to break that down. Looks like it's going to take a little bit to do so, though. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait on it because I need that. And just crashed. Something about pulling oxygen buckets from my backpack. Crashed it. Okay, our ender pearls are done running. We got our potassium dust. Let's go ahead and dump that into this chemical bath. And let me actually break this chemical bath. It's got a bunch of water in it that I was using. And I'm not really using it anymore, so there we go. Then the nitrogen dioxide, we need a bit of oxygen, which I've got, and then I need that nitrogen. Just a bucket of it will be fine for now, and I'm going to leave the rest of this in here for the time being. And we'll dump that into there. And then we need a program circuit set to 1. So let me grab that. And we'll dump this into the chemical reactor. There we go. That's going to start running, and that's going to make us, it's going to take a little while, but it's going to make us that stuff. The nitrogen dioxide. And then 2,000 millibuckets of that. 1 bucket of oxygen, 1 bucket of water is going to get us 2,000 millibuckets of nitric acid, which is going to be plenty. We have to have a configuration 4 circuit. So let's go ahead and change that over. Okay, this is done, so let's go ahead and There we go. Just dump that into there. Get this running. And that's going to give us that nitric acid that we need. And then all we have to do is add it to the chemical bath. And it's going to start creating nitor. And then we can make our blizz powder. So this blizz powder, chemical bath, liquid XP. And I think that's the only chemical bath I have. Yeah, let me... okay, there's our nitric acid. So let's go ahead and just grab that. And we'll dump it into there. I'm actually going to make another portable tank because it would prove very, very useful to us. It's just going to be a basic one. It still has 20,000 millibuckets of storage, which is more than enough. But I need that stuff to run for just a minute. Okay, and this stuff is done. It's running that last little bit of nitor. So I'm going to dump that into there, and I'm going to grab all this liquid XP real quick. And we're going to dump that into there, add the nitor, and then it's going to be able to start making our blizz powder. A little bit of a process. This pack is filled with rabbit holes. There we go. Okay, there's our next bit of blizz powder, and then we can go ahead and run this through. There we go. That's going to be the last of the hydrogen ran. And then let me grab that out. And we're actually dumping it into here. So there's our 9 buckets of cryogenic hydrogen. And then all we got to do is let me grab out all this oxygen. We're going to toss it in here and start running that. And then as that stuff finishes up, we can take it and we can add it to this, and that's going to start running. It's going to make our very first thing of rocket fuel. So yay. And we need it in cells, it looks like. So 2 iron plates, program circuit 12. You can also make it in the extruder, but it's the same cost. So let me get, which Xavier just brought up on the Discord. Of course, he's one of the devs for Infotech. And he said they're not upgrading, upgrading to more recent versions of GregTech right now because of the TPS issues that are well-known problems with the newer versions. So that's probably what's causing our huge TPS issue, is just updating the pack. Apparently it's a very known issue with the newer GregTech versions. So I think that's probably the cause. So I've just got to fight it until something happens, like something's fixed. Okay, we got a quest complete for empty cell, no reward for that. And then the Thaumcraft issue is just Thaumic JEI. So, is what Xavier was saying. Alright, so there is our very first cell of rocket fuel, which completes a quest, explosive, and we get another cell of rocket fuel from that. Okay, so we are now producing rocket fuel. I have to get a bit more though. This isn't going to be enough for what we need to do, but that's why we have more blizz powder, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and toss that in there, and I'm going to continue running this stuff through. So there's 10,000 oxygen left in there. I've got to get one more blizz powder. That's not a problem. And then let's go ahead and grab all of this and add it to that. And there we go. It's going to continue making rocket fuel. Awesome. Okay, so now we're at the point, anybody for a barf bag. And this quest, rocket assembling machine, of course, we already have that. Let me actually put this away. I'll put these in here for right now. And let's see, if we pull out the rocket assembling machine, that should complete a quest or a task part of that. Then we need 7 liquid fuel tanks, a seat, and 2 liquid fueled engines. Now the liquid fueled engines are crafted like this. I'm going to have to craft up a couple more portable tanks. It's not a problem. And the liquid fuel tanks are crafted like this. And then the seat is just like this. Okay, so I'm going to get this stuff crafted up, and I also have to go out and get a little bit of mana because there's one other thing that we're going to make before we go into space, and that is the Celestial Gateway. I've got this stuff. I've got to go grab the rune marble, but I've got that. Got that. I can whip these up, no problem. They just take a little bit of mana. That's the only reason I haven't done it yet. And then we need the rock crystals. I've got those. The biggest thing is going to be the mana pearl. We have to make unstable mana. Now, this is simple power catalyst, which is alchemy table. We're ready to go on that. Redstone, mana. Just need 10,000 mana. And then we have to make ethanol. And this part here is going to be a little bit of a process. And I should go ahead and get that running before anything else. And it's actually very, very simple to do. But what we need to do is we need to make... there's a couple different ways you can do it. Biomass is a lot more efficient, but it takes more steps because you need honey and plant balls and go through and make the biomass. It's not super difficult. I don't know. Do I want to go that route? But then we have to make a brewing machine. That's right. That's the reason I wasn't going to do it. Because we have to make a brewing machine. We can actually do this with our current machines, not have to make a bunch of new stuff right now, by going the wood vinegar method. And the charcoal byproducts would probably be the best route, but it takes nitrogen if we want to do it that way. What I was originally looking at, it's actually the cheapest, but it's also the most time consuming, is you just use wood with a program circuit at 3, and it's going to make charcoal. It's also going to make wood vinegar right here. And then this wood vinegar, then we can take and distill it into ethanol. But it's only 10 millibuckets per bucket of wood vinegar, so it's not super efficient, but it will be fine for what we need. We actually need, that's enough for, that. Well, a single craft is enough for what we need it for right now. So basically I just need 100 buckets of wood vinegar, which is fine. I've got plenty of wood built up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to configuration 3 on the circuit and let this start running. So we'll do that. And this should be, yeah, this doesn't have any in there. I'm not sure I understand the point of this one. Like adding in nitrogen and you get the exact same output. And it takes more power, or it's, well, I guess it's faster, but still. I don't understand it. Okay, it's been a little bit since I cut. This does take a little while because of the fact that, well, it takes a while, but it makes 3 buckets at a time. So getting 100 buckets is not that bad. Plus I had some lag cleanup to work on, so it wasn't, or try to fix things so they're bearable. I know Severe just said he's going to look and see about maybe turning the pack back to the older versions because they were more stable. Now it's a bit unstable, so he's going to see if he can do that, at least until things get fixed. So, but I've got a GPS marker basically just sending the stuff to the tanks that's over here. And I went ahead and pulled out the wood so that we're going to have, well, we're going to end up with 2 buckets over, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. But anyways, we've got 80,000 buckets here. And let's see, to get the ethanol, it was just run it through the distillery with it set to program circuit 2 is what we need. So let's go ahead and set this up. There we go. That's going to start running. It is going to take a little bit to break all this down, so I am going to cut. But we did... I got this. Oh yeah, and I didn't pull these out to get task credit for that. And then I also need... oh, I need a seat. I need a seat. Let me pop down here. That's just 3 wool. It's the cheapest part. I've just got to get that whipped up real quick. So there's our seat. Okay, so quest complete. Firework rocket and a theater box meal from that quest. Okay, and this is where they tell us when you reach space, you'll unlock a new mob staging that has certain mobs that ignore light level. It's highly recommended you have a piece of candle, craft only, or a Lucerna ritual to protect your base. We'll go ahead and mark that off. We're taking those precautions. So the next thing we need to do is basically land on the moon, which we're going to be doing that here in a second, and we're going to have to make a planet ID chip. What's the recipe for that in this pack? Basic circuits. Diamond lens, that's easy enough. And then we need satellite ID chip. Basic circuit makes one of those. Okay. And we're going to need actually... I think we need 2 of these. I'm going to have to double check. If I recall, you need 1 to launch there, like to find the moon. But then I'm going to need 1 to send the rocket back. But that's not a big issue. As long as I have 1 at first, then we'll make our celestial gateway and then we'll launch it back later on. So, because I don't think I'm going to have enough fuel to launch it back right this second. But like I said, it's no biggie. No rush. But let's see how this is coming along. We've got 100 millibuckets of ethanol. Whoops. Okay, 5,000 left. Okay, cool. And actually, while that stuff is running, we should pop on over here and pull up our space, our launch pad real quick. And... okay, that does work with vein mine. Okay, and there's our 25 launch pads. Okay, and then let's head down. Let's head down here real quick. Because if you recall, we're going to have to set it up in the void world for the first launch. And that's due to the fact that we can't find the moon without it. And I'm also going to have to get something for power over here. Actually, I should grab some like cobble or something to build this out. And this will basically just be temporary. I think we're only going to have to launch from here 1 time from the void world. And then I'm not sure if we're going to have to launch. I don't think we'll have to launch from here for the other planets and the space station and stuff. Of course, if we have to, it's only going to be a 1-time launch. We're only going to launch to each planet 1 time. We're going to set up a celestial gateway as soon as we land and never have to launch again to that planet is the plan. So let's go ahead and set up our launch pad. And we're just going to set this up like right in here. And this way I'll be able to vein mine it up later and not lose everything. So that, and then our structure towers. There we go. And I gotta say, the worst part was this right here, the liquid fuel tanks. They were the worst part of setting all this up because of the fact that the TPS is low right now. And so crafting all that steel was a little bit of a pain. And we are going to need a guidance computer for this. And the rocket assembling machine, this thing we can actually have just setting, like say right there. We are going to need some power in this, so we're going to deal with that here in just a second. But anyways, let's go ahead and set this up. And we're going to do... I wonder if this will work. Let's do that, and then let's build up our tanks like this, and then we're going to have our guidance computer setting there and our seat setting on top right there, and we're going to see if this works. So that would be our rocket basically. And if we take a look here, invalid launch pad structure, how you figure, or does this need to be brought up by 1? Wait a second. Rocket unscanned. Okay. It sees it. Okay, yeah, it has to be up by 1, so like that. It sees it, though. So basically, we just have to scan the rocket now, which is going to require power. I'm actually going to test something, though. I don't know if this retains its power. And let me actually pop up here, because I've got this CEU up here. And this room, we'll be setting up this room before too long, but not just yet. So I'm going to steal that CEU for just a minute. And I'm going to set this up like right there. Rocket assembling machine. So it builds up power, and then if I was to break that and move it, does it retain its power? It doesn't retain its power. Okay, so I'm going to need to do all this on site. Okay, well I could move a tank of steam over and that would be alright. 80,000 millibuckets I think would be able to scan the rocket. You don't actually need any power to launch the rocket, you just need to scan the rocket. So, and then once we scan it, we won't have to scan it anymore. Even though, well, I guess technically we probably will scan it again because we'll move it over to here. So we'll have to scan it, but that's fine. So that ethanol's kicking away, working on that that first bit of unstable mana. Be a whole lot easier once we automate it. And whenever we automate it, we will do so with honey, because it'll be a whole lot more efficient that way. But for now, wood vinegar, it's just easier since we don't have a brewing machine, and I don't really want to make one until I get those machine parts automated, because I've had to disassemble all the machine inventory manager stuff, and making all that steel was a pain. So let me get advanced mechanical pipes, and let me get the configurator. And then I'm also going to need to steal the steam turbine over here for just a minute. Then I'm also going to grab this piece of tin cable. Okay, so we should be good to go now, and get this rocket scanned. So we'll set the rocket assembling machine right there, and this is going to tell us if there's anything missing. I don't think there's going to be anything missing. I think that's everything that we're going to need, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on it. It's been a while since I've launched a rocket, so. And you can make them a little bit more fancy, but I will say that, like, by default, I mean, that's a default rocket. That's one spot where Galacticraft really outshines advanced rocketry, but advanced rocketry is kind of more modular, so you can make your rockets more fancy if you want. But we're not going to be, because it's going to be something that we barely ever use. Like 3 or 4 times throughout the entire pack we'll use a rocket, and that'll be about it. So let's go ahead and let me grab this, and we'll put it right there, and then our mechanical pipe is going to feed that into the turbine, and there we go. And that should start producing some power, dumping the power into the rocket assembling machine. And let me go ahead and load this area for a minute. There we go. And that way it can start filling this up with power, however much steam we've got. And a full charge should be more than enough to scan a rocket. It actually doesn't take very long. So, alright. So now we're waiting on the ethanol to get the unstable mana to make the... also, I need to... let me pop down here real quick. I need to get the Astral Tome so I can figure out exactly what stones I need to bring with me, and we need to set up one of these celestial gateways now, and then we'll set up more later on. I will say there's other... Technically, I could just make one of these, or technically I could make none, because there are celestial gateways set up on the server, but I like to do things proper, and so we are going to do this on camera and set one of these up, or set a couple of these up. So let's see, celestial gateway, here we go. The multi-block that we need to make is 20 marble arches, 25 sooty marble, 4 runed marble, 4 engraved marble. Okay, sounds good. Alright, so let's grab a bit of marble. First up, 20 marble arches. So let's, and then of course we're going to have to double it because we're doing 2 of these. So marble arches, there we go. And then we need 4 engraved marble. And then we need 50 sooty marble and 8 runed marble. And I think I'm actually out of runed marble. And sooty marble I have 4 of. Okay, what was it to make sooty marble on here? Oops. Coal around marble? Was it really that easy? Or alloy smelter? Yeah, I guess it was. I just, for some reason I was thinking, I think I was doing that method a long time ago or something. I don't remember. Okay, so we're going to need, what was it, 100? Yeah, or I'm sorry, 50 sooty marble. So let me get 46 marble. And then runed marble was fine steel wire to make that. Or we could go out exploring and try to get it. We'll see. We'll see. Because, like, if I go out and I hit up, like, if I hit up, like, 2 of the altars, which they're super common, I could get the rune marble, but I don't know if it's really worth it. If I should probably just do the fine steel wire, honestly. And I'm going to have to make up some more steel here soon. I made up some between episodes, but making the tanks for this stuff ate through that, all of it. All of it. Okay, so we need chiseled marble, and then we need any kind of block marble. Alright, so let's get 4 of those, and then I'm just going to take marble bricks. Okay, and we are at 910 on the ethanol. Let me go ahead and grab the simple power catalyst, and this is going to go into the mixer. And then we're just waiting on that ethanol to get done. Okay, well, while that stuff's running, because we're waiting on the ethanol, we're waiting on the fine steel wire to get done, I guess we could start setting up the thing for the Celestial Gateway, but let's go ahead and pop through. This should be ready to scan. Oh, and I didn't make any more oxygen tanks, but I decided that I wasn't going to worry about it, because right now we're pretty much going to go there. We're going to set up a Celestial Gateway, and then we'll be on the moon, you know? So we should be good. Let's go ahead and... How much steam is still left in this? Enough. Enough is in there. Okay, so let's hit scan. And you'll notice it's going to start scanning this rocket, and we should be good on power. Yeah, seems fine. That's going to scan. It's going to go down. That's going to go back up. All right. Oh, no. That was it. Okay, you can see it says clear for liftoff. Okay, you can see our thrust is 20 newtons. None of this stuff really matters. It tells you your weight, your thrust, your fuel, and then your acceleration. But all this stuff is good. If it says clear for liftoff, there's no problems. Now, if we didn't have, say, enough fuel tanks, or we didn't have the engine, you know, there wasn't enough engines, it would basically tell us what the problems were, and it would... your thrust and your acceleration, I think, is based off the engines. Your fuel tanks allow you to store more fuel, and this is going to tell you how much fuel you're going to eat up per second. There is some math behind it. I'm not for sure. Basically, if it says clear for liftoff, I say, okay, good. I'm going to fill this thing up with fuel, and we're going to go. But there is a little bit more math to it than I'm making it out to be. So, especially if you get into more intricate rockets, and your weight is your total weight for your whole rocket. And your structure towers, if your rocket is taller, if you make like a big tall rocket, you are going to need a taller structure tower than what we've got. Because ours is basically 9 blocks above the launch pad. Okay, so since we're clear for liftoff and everything's good, what we're going to do is we're going to hit build, because we're good with this rocket. It's going to stay this way. So it's going to start building it. So this is going to come down, and this is where it comes back up, I think. Maybe? Yeah, there we go. It comes back down, and there we go. Okay, our build is complete. And we can see that this is now a rocket. It's dark. Let me... I guess it's just going to be dark because it's nighttime. Anyways, our rocket is a multi-block, and so now we can click right there, and you can see on the left there's our altitude, our velocity, and our fuel, and we can press space to take off. Destination, we have no destination at the moment. We are going to have to set a destination into this. So that's what we are going to do in just a minute. But let's go ahead and take our rocket fuel cells, and we're just going to right click, and then if we sit on this, you can see our fuel is built back up. I think it takes 8 buckets to fill it, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it before we take off. So let me do that. And we also have to get our destination ship, so that we know where we're going, because right now we would just be launching into space and have no real objective as to what we're doing. We're just launching, which I've never tried that before. I don't know what would happen, actually, if we just launched into space with no actual destination. I don't know if it would just bring us back, or if we would just die out in space somewhere, or what. But let's go ahead and grab our ethanol, and we're going to add this to the mixer, and that is going to start running. Looks like it's going to take a little while. That's fine. Yeah, looks like it's going to take a good long while to make that unstable mana. But our fine steel wire is done, so let's go ahead. That. Is that not right? Fine steel wire, fine steel wire. Like, huh. I wonder if we have that JEI bug again. No? Recipe by Thaumcraft. Why would the recipe be by Thaumcraft? Something's wrong. Something's wrong with the recipes at the moment. I'm almost thinking that the Craft Tweaker stuff is messed up again somehow. Because I know for a fact that recipe is not added by Thaumcraft. Because Astral Sorcery blocks and Greg Tech Wire makes Rune Marble from Astral Sorcery. No, it's not doing that. And so what I'm going to do, that would be 12. Okay, I'm just going to have to cheat this in and dump that stuff because something's wrong with our JEI again, or with our Craft Tweaker scripts. I'll have to let Severed know, and of course I think he's going to blow the pack back to before the update anyways, so maybe that'll fix it, or I don't know. I don't know if the server being down the other day messed it up. I don't know. No clue. No clue whatsoever. Okay, so we should be good on that. Let me go ahead and grab... I have 2 buckets of cryogenic hydrogen. Okay, well let me grab this. This should be enough fuel to fill the rocket up. And then... oh, let's see, that's at 27%. We also need the guidance chip, the Planet ID chip. We're going to need a satellite ID chip. Basically going to need 3 basic circuits. And we've got the diamond lens already, so that's good. I just need those. And actually, I wonder, can I just use advanced circuit parts for this? So diamond lens, throw those in there. I think this is going to work. Yeah, it makes basic circuits. Cool. Okay, so we're just going to use those. They have less overall uses than the actual circuits, so I'd rather use them up when I can. But soon it's not really going to be an issue because we'll be able to automate circuits. I mean, technically, if Super Factory Manager was a little bit more friendly, I probably... Seriously? Oh, it's there. It's just invisible. Okay. I'm probably going to have to relog, actually. So I'm going to wait to relog, though, until we're pretty much ready to lift off. Once I get the Planet ID chip, we get the Celestial Gateway set up, then I'll relog, like come back through here and relog, because otherwise I'm going to end up having to relog like multiple times. So I'll just wait to do that. Going to build that on around like that. Okay, so let's go set up our Celestial Gateways. And actually, this unstable mana might be done now. No, it's at 54. Okay, that's fine. Let me grab the Sooty Marble out of here, and we're just going to go ahead and set this up minus these corner blocks for right now, and then we'll get those... or no, I got those. I've pretty much got everything except for the Celestial Gateway itself, I guess. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's pop up here, and right in here is where this is planned to go. Let's see, that's going to come off the back. And I think what we're going to do is set it up right in here. And I'm actually going to put it 1 block higher so it's kind of raised. Because what this is eventually going to be is it's going to be kind of a little It's going to be kind of rounded right here, and so you would have the castle back here, and then the rocket ship, and then we would have the Celestial Gateway where people could teleport in, but then it's going to continue on out in this direction just a little ways to another thing in particular. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say like this right here is going to be the center point for this. And so what we're going to do, this is 5 blocks wide. So we're basically going to build a 5x5 right here. So there we go. And then around the edges is the arch blocks. And then we're going to have the ruined marble. There and there. And then the engraved marble on top. So there we go. Okay, so now all we need is the Celestial Gateway block, and we will be good to go on that. And we're at 86%. This unstable mana takes... How long does it actually take? I'm going to check it here in just a second. But there's our basic circuit. There's our satellite ID chip. 2 of these. That makes us our planet ID chip. And then we need our Celestial Gateway. Come on and get done. Okay, and our unstable mana is done. So let's take a look at the mana pearls. Eye of Ender, unstable mana, in an assembler. Okay. So let me grab this. Let me grab this. Let me grab 1 bucket of this unstable mana. And assembling machine, let's dump that right into there. Drop in our Eyes of Ender, and that's going to start crafting our mana pearls for us. So we are just about ready. Just about. To launch into space. So there's our 2 mana pearls. And then... let's grab our resonating wand, and let's pop up here and get this crafted up. Okay, looks like we've got enough starlight at the moment. And let me grab this. I grabbed some pretty not great rock crystals for this. Of course, the purity, the stats and stuff on these rock crystals, it does not matter for the Celestial Gateway because it's pretty much set as is. And yeah, I should probably keep that on me actually. Okay, there we go. There's our first one. And there we go. Okay, we'll get our next one crafting up. And while we're waiting, let's go ahead and set this one up. Make sure that everything's set up properly and that it's working properly. And then we'll be good to go. Well, it can't be Craft Tweaker in general that's messed up at the moment, because that craft works. And it wouldn't work otherwise. Yeah, but you can see that we can teleport to other people's bases. Like there's Aurelia. I'm not going to skip progress by teleporting to other planets, but we can if we so desire. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see. I kind of wish that like that's severed. I kind of wish it was tilted to where it was a little bit more visible. Celestial Gateways are really cool, but they're also kind of a pain to use sometimes. Especially whenever you're on a server and you get a lot of different teleports up and going. It can actually be kind of hard to find what you're looking for in a lot of cases. So I'm dreading trying to find our way off of the moon to teleport back here and vice versa once we get that set up, but that's fine. Oh, and we can name these. I almost forgot to do that. So I should probably do that actually before I commit this one, because otherwise I'm going to be trying to find where I'm teleporting to, and it's not going to be fun. So I'm just going to grab that. If I recall correctly, there was a time when you couldn't break those. Or maybe you still can't, but if you have Silk Touch you can, or I can't remember. But alright, let's pop down. Let's see, we're going to have to pop downstairs. Got that. That's really the last thing that we were waiting on. Oh, and this, there's no reward. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to... I need to put a peace candle here before we go. But you'll notice that the mobs are kind of laggy. I'm not going to do any exploration today. Basically, I just want to get to the moon, and then I'll probably end out, because I was planning on doing 2 episodes at once. Like, we're going to the moon, and then we get to the moon, and we do like an episode of exploration. But with it being as laggy as it is, until this TPS gets sorted, because I'm hoping we can get this TPS sorted since, you know, from the most recent update. Let me work back down here. But I'm hoping we can get that sorted, and then it should be smooth sailing. So we're going to name this one Asgard's Base, and we're going to call this one Asgard Moon. There we go. And then we'll have another one for like Space Station, and one for the other 2 planets, you know. I think there's 3 planets total, right? So Euclides Prime and Aurelia. And then Space Station and Moon. That'll be all of our teleports. Anyways, there's our Asgard Moon teleports. And let's pop let's pop back down here. And we are going to warp over, and I think we're ready to launch now, pretty much. Minus our last minute preparation stuff. So yeah, let me relog real quick. This is of course due to the entities bugging out anytime you change dimensions, or most times that you change dimensions. Mobs will stop showing, any kind of entity will stop showing, and the rocket does count as an entity. So okay, so I wonder, can I I'm gonna try this. And so if we shift right click, can I just, no, can I do that? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. So this is filled up on fuel. Now what we need to do is we're going to click on, shift right click. We're going to do select destination, and we're going to set the destination to Luna. That's the moon. That's where we want to go. Okay, so we're going to say select. And then we are going to put our Planet ID chip inside of our guidance computer. Actually, I think I should have done that first, right? So select destination, Luna, select. Then if we open up our guidance computer, planet name is Luna. That's where it's set to. That's where we're going to be launching to. And our rocket is good on fuel. So we're golden on that. Let me dump this into there. Let me dump that into there. Basically everything that I do not need at the moment. Dump that in there, and that in there, and that in there. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take our cosmetic armor, and we're going to switch over, and I'm going to go ahead and put on, for right now I'm going to put on the space boots, just to make sure that there's no bugs with airtight seal, and then whenever we get over there we'll check it after everything's set up and we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to be looking like this on the moon. Now let me actually take, this off just so we fit the part a little bit more. And it'll be a little bit more fitting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to right click, we're going to get on top of our rocket, we're going to hit space, launch in T9, 8, 7. These are really long seconds because the TPS is so rough right now. But it's like whenever we scan it, it's pretty much GregTech that's causing all of the lag. And it's stuff, well, that and mechanism. Mechanism's bad, and, you know, it's, for some reason, I'll say, don't use a whole lot of mechanism, but mechanism still gets used a whole lot. Of course, this pack, it's pretty much the best for a while that you can use. Okay, so we're going to start launching, and it's probably going to take a second because our TPS is rocking right now. I think technically we're flying at the moment, but it's hard to tell. This is going to be a really long trip, I can already tell you. But there's Luna. That's where we're going, right? Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Let's see. Slash TPS, yeah, 6.66. So that's to be expected. But hopefully we can get that sorted. I should think. But you can see our altitude is steadily climbing. I kind of want to go AFK while I'm waiting for this. It's not a very awesome launch. So, but I'm going to cut. I'll bring you guys back whenever we finally make it through the atmosphere, and we're actually about to start moving into the landing phase, because it's normally a bit more smooth than this. So I'll be back. Okay, I think we're making it into the atmosphere, so you can see everything's gone down below, and it's just basically, this is the Earth, I think. this cube that we're floating above or bouncing. That would be like the most uncomfortable rocket ride ever. It would be terrible. Plus, we just sit on top of the rocket. Best rocket design ever. I think this would totally work. I think this is actually NASA's new their new rocket design. I'm actually copying it from the new NASA one. So here we go. See, it's starting to look prettier. Normally this would be a lot smoother. It's like, and you launch, and you know, it's not we will wobble rocket ship time under normal circumstances. But yeah. Okay, so here we go. We are now, we're going to start descending in 25 seconds. We're going to go ahead and start it. It says, welcome to Luna. To progress further, you will need to locate ukuleles via satellites. Search using the ukulele's artifact. Well, you know what they say about curiosity. Your meddling in extra-dimensional and special affairs has welcomed the most deadly enemies in the known universe to your door. Well done, you probably killed us all. Okay, so we're going to start descending. And unlike... I can't even see me because I changed dimensions, I think. So we're not going to be able to see our spaceship. I'm going to have to relog. But it's not a big deal. I don't have to see it right now. But anyways, we are going to be descending into Luna. And I guess we're descending. I don't know. I think the altitude might be bugged. Possibly. Not for sure. Oh, I'm not sure. Best moon landing ever. Like I wanna relog so I can see what's going on, but then it might bug, and I don't know. But let's see if I put on the slime boots. Okay, altitude is dropping now, so we're coming in for a landing. It's very, very slow. But luckily, unlike Galacticraft, which is actually kind of one of those things I kind of miss. Some things Galacticraft does better. Some things Advanced Rocketry does better. Overall, I like Advanced Rocketry a little bit more because Galacticraft still feels like it's stuck in like the early or the like 2010, you know, as far as mods go. And so I don't know, like, and Galacticraft's just a whole bunch of recolors, and you know, I'm just kind of, and I'm kind of bored of Galacticraft as well, I guess. But there are some things that it does better, I think. So you don't have to throttle yourself as you're going down onto a planet with Advanced Rocketry. You pretty much just go, and your rocket's never going to crash, ever. Like, even if you launch without enough fuel, basically the rocket launches, it doesn't quite make it because there's not enough fuel, so it just sets back down. There's really no way to destroy your rocket due to, you know, improper maintenance and care and stuff like that. But you can see our velocity. Normally it's kind of cool watching this because you actually start, like, fire starts erupting because you're like making planet landing and all that, but we're not going to get all that cool stuff. Okay, it doesn't even look like we used a half tank of fuel, not even like 4 buckets. So maybe we could probably make it back on the same charge. So maybe make 8 buckets of fuel. That gets you there and back. You know, actually it might be, well, yeah, I'd say that's, well, I don't know. I feel like it might just be like 3 buckets of fuel get you there, 3 buckets back. So we'd still have a little bit left over for our next launch. I'm not for sure. But yeah, I'm hoping I get a better view here. And I'm assuming that we've landed because our altitude, yeah, okay, now we've landed. So we can just hit shift. I don't wanna launch, but let me try and relog. That's the worst thing about the entity vanishing bug. When you try to go into space, it's like, oh well, your entity just vanished on you. Okay, so we are on the moon now, and this is what the moon looks like. It's a little bit more cool if you can actually see what's going on whenever you're landing. But that's okay. What we're gonna do is, once I manage to eat this, there we go. What we're going to do is we're going to set up our Celestial Gateway here, and I'm going to just put it setting right in here. Asgard Moon goes right there. And then our arch blocks. There we go. That'd be a bad time to like lose it. It just floats off into space and it's gone forever and I'm stranded on the moon. Well, no, I guess I can launch back, but then I have to waste fuel coming back, you know. And then that, which for right now I'm actually probably just going to leave my rocket right there. I could ride it back, but I'm not going to until the TPS is fixed, so we can actually do it on camera and maybe it'll be a bit prettier going back. But you can see that... Stop bouncing. It's going to be the worst thing about the slime boots. I don't know if I want to wear those or not. But if we stand here and... Yeah, there's Asgard's base. Okay, so I can hold shift and point at it and I'll be able to warp back. And there we go. Now we're back at my base. Okay, so we can move freely back and forth between the moon and here. And I've got to figure out... Asgard Moon. There we go. Okay, so I can warp back. Boom, and we're back on the moon. Now one thing I want to do since we're on the moon is I want to grab a little bit of this moon turf. And there we go, quest complete and quest complete. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, and moon rocks. Quest complete. So we get a primordial nodule from this quest. And this is very important. This is another reason why I wanted to come here first, actually. This thing, what we can do is we can take it and with a little bit of love and care, well, the recipe's not showing up. You can actually, it's the Sky Cauldron, I think it is. You can actually restore this to full durability. And if we do that, we can get the Thaumonomicon, the Cheater's Thaumonomicon. Well, the recipe's not showing up. We can get that without any issue at all. Because the worst part was getting that Primordial Pearl. And if we can get it super easily, then that will be awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this as home. And I guess for next episode, I'm actually going to have to turn my map back on. I have it turned off because I really don't like this mini-map mod all that much because it's kind of buggy. And so I tend to have it turned off unless I just have to use it. Like whenever exploring and stuff like that. There's a cobalt nugget. Interesting. So, yeah, but we have a bit of mining to do here. I know that there is the... Actually, I think we can mine here, right? I can pretty much fly through here with the longsword. Because it launches you up enough that I pretty much just have like endless bouts right now. It's just like having a jetpack on the moon. This is pretty cool, actually. I like those craters. I do like the moon on Advanced Rocketry quite a bit more than the one on Galacticraft. One on the Galacticraft is kind of dinky, I feel like. I mean, it's kind of the same, but I think the colors here are better, and the world is a bit better, and there's no Mega Mind creatures floating around. But you can see up there, my oxygen is slowly starting to drop. I think we're going to have plenty of oxygen for general purpose, but it will steadily start to drop. So, now one thing, and the sun's starting to go down, it's probably going to get pretty dark here. Normal torches work. Well, mineral torches work. I don't know about normal torches. No, they die off. They become advanced rocketry torches, which don't emit light. Yeah, so one quick thing I want to do before we end out the episode. If I scan... Okay, I'm not seeing much of anything. I think we can mine here, but maybe it all has to be done with the... we may have to do it with the unmanned rockets. So, little mining expedition things. But, yeah, so we'll see. We'll look into that. Next episode will probably just be exploring, honestly. But then the following episode... Well, following episode, we're probably going to start into like AE2 or some stuff like that. Depending on if stuff's fixed, we might quickly get the Cheater's Thaumonomicon. Well, no, I think there's a little bit more work we have to do for the Cheater's Thaumonomicon, if I recall correctly, which is fine. But I'm going to go ahead and warp back over here. I will fill up our oxygen tanks before we go out next episode, but we're going to have to find ourselves a dungeon, and then we'll have to start exploring said dungeon and see what kind of loot we can uncover. So, but anyways, I'm going to end out this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out. Also, I do apologize about the lag. There's not really anything I can do right this second to fix it, but hopefully a fix will be coming up here soon, one way or the other. So, anyways, I do apologize about that. So, but I hope you guys join me for next time. Hopefully the lag will be sorted, and we're going to explore and look for skystone and other cool things, and then probably start moving into a bit of automation. Somewhere along those lines, we'll have to stop and do make a space station and start mining, because that's a good way to get skystone, is through the mining excavations. I don't know if we can mine skystone on the moon without the mining excavations, aside from finding it in the dungeons, which is kind of a bummer. I really don't like I'm not a big fan of the gotta get auto mining. Like, I actually like mining, but I feel like I don't know how reasonable it's going to be in this pack moving forward, because it seems like a lot of the stuff you pretty much have to auto mine, because I know a lot of resources coming up cannot be mined by any method. Like Mark of the Falling Tower we're going to have to do. We're going to have to start getting into chickens. We're going to have to get our advanced rocketry quarry up and going, and some stuff like that. But I don't know if the orchid's a thing we're going to be doing on here. I can't remember. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys next time.